in 1969, first-year geography students of Mather College, Manchester attended a field week based at Cromford near Matlock. On the outward journey, we halted to view this section of the Goyt Valley. Beyond Buxton, we saw this limestone gorge at Ashwood Dale, and here wild rhubarb grows in the river. Ashford-in-the-Water, within the Peak District National Park, has a population of about 650 in 184 dwellings. The old custom of dressing the wells in thanksgiving for water is observed each Trinity Sunday. The parish church, renovated in 1894, is maintained by voluntary subscriptions. This estate was built in the 1950s, and all buildings here have to be faced with the natural stone. This open cast quarry near Alfreton produces 500 tons of stone per week. When worked out, the whole area has to be transformed back to grassland. The week's work includes the study of a river. This one is Harlow Brook, its source being 1,200 feet. Here a soil sample is being collected for later analysis. The entire course has to be studied, taking into account angles of slope, reasons for waterfalls, speed of water, load and vegetation on the banks. To check speed, sawdust is poured into the water, the exact time being noted for it to travel a given distance. Material carried downstream is collected in this fishing net. A very necessary pause, lunch. Careful note-taking is essential at every stage. In some parts the going was rough. Another speed check. Again we see wild rhubarb, this time in a former river meander. A short relaxation with the Derwent in the background at the end of this day's exercise. These contain distilled water, barium sulfate and colouring matter. They are used here to test the acidity of the soil collected during the river study. This is Richard Arkwright's Cromford Cotton Mill. It was constructed in 1771 and was the first successful water-powered mill in the world. This is the now disused sluice of a Darley Abbey mill, built by Thomas Evans in conjunction with Richard Arkwright. Evans owned Darley Abbey village at the time, and he built these houses for his workers. The final study involved 2 days in the parish of Eyam, seen here from Eyam Edge, the industry providing striking contrasts to the surrounding terrain. This is the village visited by the Great Plague from London in 1665, when the tailor of Eyam, George Vickers, received a box of textiles from that city. He died a few days later in this cottage. Infection spread from house to house, and plaques are now fixed to many dwellings. All buildings are constructed in the local millstone grit, including these more modern developments. On the south side of the road, this council estate is a recent addition. Next to the 1877 parish school is the parish church, which dates from 1150. Above the chancel door is this sundial, which includes signs of the zodiac. In the churchyard is the Celtic cross, which dates from the 8th century. It is now scheduled as an ancient monument. Sheep roasting is an annual event coinciding with the well dressing. These village stocks were renovated in 1951. Shops provide the majority of everyday needs. Most of the residents appear contented, although waiting for a bus can be very tiresome. The Sheffield to Buxton service runs every 2 hours, but the local service is not so time conscious. And so, after a strenuous yet most interesting week, the time has come to return to Manchester.